You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, 2 Oklahoma schools came together to celebrate back to school after storms wreaked havoc in the area.
Also, church members of First Christian Church in Nevada are coming together to push forward after the loss of their building due to a fire.
And we've got dangerous heat once again across the area. We'll talk about that and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. It's August the 26th for those that are keeping track.
Almost done with the month of August.
Just about. And even though it's been super hot lately, we're going to have some very fall-like temperatures as we head into September, which will be a nice break from whatever this wretched mess is outside.
Sounds amazing.
Uncomfortable. And thankfully, we don't have any severe weather, but a couple of weekends ago, we did.
Yes, we did. And Quapaw and Commerce, Oklahoma came together to hold a collaborative back-to-school bash after Quapaw schools sustained storm damage.
KOAM's Mitch Adams has the story.
It's just a great event, and it brings our it brings our two communities together, and we're so close. There's no reason for us to be, even though we are probably football rivals, there's no reason for us to be community rivals.
With a new school year swiftly approaching, both Quapaw and Commerce had plans for a back-to-school bash in both respective towns. However, after storms damaged Quapaw schools, the two communities decided to join forces for a collaborative back-to-school celebration. Tammy Holland, the city clerk in Commerce, tells us why the two towns came together for this event.
Quapaw's was supposed to be today, but their facilities are still getting repaired, so we just came together and brought everybody here. Everything is free. We've got water slides, we've got free hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, drinks, snow cones. Everything's free for the kids today. You can even come dunk a cup.
A future 8th grader from Commerce says that it's a positive thing that the two towns are able to celebrate the beginning of a new school year together despite the hardship.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good because we get to have all the fun together instead of having them separated. Because Quapaw can't have it, we bring them to Commerce and now they can have the fun because of the storm damage.
With all of the festivities in play at Commerce High School, the options for fun were endless.
Playing in the bounce houses. The bounce houses.
Basically just hanging out with friends here for the slushies and food.
Having fun. Just having fun, playing in the water.
The school year is set to ring in for Quapaw on a delayed schedule. Repairs to the school in Quapaw are expected to be finished by that date. Reporting from Commerce, Oklahoma, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Now, the first day of school for Quapaw has been delayed with the new school year scheduled to start on September 3rd.
Of course, for more information on this, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And when Quapaw students go back, they're going to be dealing with slightly better temperatures than what most of the schools have dealt with as they've gone back over the last couple of weeks. And still another very hot day across the area today. We're going to start with a quick look outside from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. We do have what looks like an absolutely beautiful sunrise out there. Unfortunately, the temperatures aren't going to match how nice it looks outside. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline also looking pretty good this morning. Folks getting their day underway. We do have heat advisories for the bulk of the area through late evening tonight. So that's heat index values within these zones 105 to 108. Now for the counties not included, so that's Lawrence, Berry, Benton, and Delaware. You still could see heat index values up to 100 degrees. So we're going to put you just below heat advisory criteria. All of us should be moving just below heat advisory criteria over the next few days. So it's still going to be hot, but it'll be that much better perhaps. As we head into the afternoon today, we are looking at sunny skies, temperatures uncomfortable. Some of our friends out west getting close to 100 degrees. The rest of us heading up into the mid to upper 90s, and it'll take us a minute to cool off, but we are looking to be just a little cooler as we head into the overnight hours tonight. We're at 76 in Joplin, 74 in Pittsburgh this morning. And as we look at temperatures across the region, again, we've got some places that are cooler. Sedan, for example, Jay, Grove, Anderson, Bentonville, Cassville, Monette, Neosho, low 70s, even Iola in the low 70s, and then the rest of us right around the mid 70s. So again, we're falling back just a bit. We'll eventually hit those official overnight lows. And by the way, Chanute over the weekend set a record warm low. 80 degrees Sunday night. And the record warm low initially was 78, and that was back in 2021. You guys only fell back to 80 over the weekend. That's how uncomfortable it's been. It's going to remain that way again for a while. Mid-upper 90s today, sunny, hot, muggy. A cold front will arrive by Thursday night, and that will bring us those fall-like temperatures and some much-needed rain chances. Details on that in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, yesterday, community members in Carthage held a rally supporting Jason Martin as fire chief. The event comes after Carthage firefighters submitted a statement supporting Martin as chief. The Carthage City Council recently tabled choosing a new chief despite the hiring committee unanimously selecting Martin for more than 10 applicants. Well, bikers gathered in Joplin yesterday to support a good cause. The third annual Ride for Autism Awareness started at Cycle Connection and finished at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca. After the ride, participants could join a panel discussion about employing a person with special needs. Organizers say the event is about starting conversations, supporting and listening to those with autism. Dozens of local businesses helped sponsor this year's ride. Well, members of Pittsburgh State University's Human Health Performance and Recreation Club held its first annual car show Saturday. The event, known as Carrilla Fest, is to help fundraise for scholarships for HHPR students. Carrilla Fest also had awards for the top 2 winners and 2 food trucks for attendees to enjoy.
So we were tasked with deciding to do an annual event that could help raise scholarship funds for the department. And a car show is a good one where everyone can be involved. It's not like you have to be really good at something. And we were hoping the community would rally around this. And that's kind of what led us to this.
At least 17 cars pre-registered for the event. Well, Nevada Church is moving forward following a devastating fire last week. Roughly 70 firefighters came together to fight the fire, which took nearly 4 hours to bring under control. But officials have determined the building to be a total loss. KOAM's Mitch Adams spoke with the church leaders to learn how they're moving ahead despite the tragedy.
So while my heart goes out to our church members, and I pray justice is done, at the same time, my heart does go out to a gentleman that was so troubled to do an act like this.
The First Christian Church in Nevada, Missouri, who recently fell victim to arson, plans to move forward in a time of disaster. 8 different fire departments responded to the fire, being able to put it out before it spread further, but the damage was already done. The church's preacher, Tim McMillan, told us about the series of events that took place that day.
I had to be out of town, long ways away, so I wasn't able to be here on the spot, but I started seeing these pictures popping up on social media, and some of our leaders began sending me pictures, and I couldn't believe it. It just didn't seem real. But as the pictures continued to flow in, it was obvious that tragedy had hit of some sort. I didn't know what.
Although the church was destroyed, McMillan told us that one of his main focuses for the church was not letting the tragedy stop the services.
What we do have is a community and a congregation that loves each other, that's coming together, that's meeting in our fellowship hall that's right here on the church property. It has been changed over to an auditorium, and so we didn't miss a Sunday service. We had service the following day. It was heart-wrenching, but at the same time, God was honored and praised, even through a tragedy.
The fellowship hall on the same lot as the church went undamaged in the fire. Sunday services, leadership groups, and youth groups will continue in the adjacent building. Reporting from Nevada, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News. The Vernon County Prosecutor's Office has filed felony charges against 58-year-old Keith Kaler in connection to the fire. He is being charged with felony arson and felony burglary. The man has been hospitalized for injuries believed to be related to the fire, and a warrant has been issued for his arrest upon recovery from those injuries. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, college football season is here. We'll hear from Daisy Flood on this year's excitement around Pittsburgh's Paint the Town Red.
And later, a news helicopter becomes instrumental in helping locate a missing child. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of Pittsburgh ahead of their Little Balkans Day festivities. Well, college football is here, and what better way to celebrate than with a citywide rally? Daisy Flood of the Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce is with us this morning to share what the excitement is all about for this event. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about this event that's going on Friday.
Yeah, this is our 19th year of Paint the Town Red, so we're super excited to kick it off again this year. We have a block party coming up this Friday night, August 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. at 4th and Broadway. It's going to be a lot of fun for the whole family and for those new college students coming back as well.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about, bringing the whole community together with the college students as well. How do you see, in the Pittsburgh area, how this really benefits the community?
Oh, this is great for the community and the university. We already have a strong relationship with them. So this just helps us come together and again, bring those new college students back, show them what Pittsburgh has to offer. And it's great for our downtown businesses as well because they get to see a little bit of the university too.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about what events are all going on the night of.
Yeah, so again, it starts at 6 p.m. on 4th and Broadway, and we will have anywhere from food vendors to craft vendors to our downtown businesses giving out information or t-shirts or fun things like that. We'll have interactive games for all of our kiddos to play. And then we'll have performances from the Pittsburgh State Band, cheer and dance teams. So it'll be a super fun night. You'll definitely want to check it out.
Yes, and where will those performances be?
It'll be right there on 4th and Broadway.
Wonderful, yep. Absolutely fantastic. And just talk to me a little bit more about how you've seen this event grow over the years and just how it benefits the local businesses as well as the university students.
Yeah, every year we've seen this event grow. This year is especially important because it's also Little Balkans Days this week. So following our block party from 6 to 8 p.m., Little Balkans Days will host a concert until 10 p.m. So we're expecting even more people this year that we wouldn't normally get because the two events will be combined. So we're really excited.
Yes, very exciting. And where can people find more information about this event if they'd like to do so?
Yeah, on our Facebook page at Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce or on our website at pittsburghareachamber.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning, Daisy. Chris will be back with the full look at the forecast when we return.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 7:17 on this Monday morning, and we're starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker because, believe it or not, we have a couple of showers. We even have a little thunderstorm out there this morning. So this shower here that's northwest of Columbus, just west of Scammon, is a real shower. When you get to this time of year, we get a lot of bad radar returns out there. In fact, some radar returns here lately have even shown bats flying out of caves. But that is an actual shower that's just west of Scammon in Cherokee County. And then we head back up to the north into Bates County. And this is a real shower, and even had a couple of lightning strikes. So technically, a thunderstorm just to the southwest of Butler. So we do have a couple of little showers out there to contend with this morning. And when we put this into motion, you'll see what I'm talking about with some of the bad radar returns. Like this, for example, doesn't move anywhere. It's not real rain. But this activity, even though it's right on where a band of some bad radar returns was, you see the little lightning strikes flare up. That helps tell us that it was an actual thunderstorm that tried to get going. And we've got this one, which is actually moving. So that's a little shower there in the northwestern corner of Cherokee County. The majority of us are dry. The majority of us are going to remain that way. But, Mother Nature threw a couple of showers at us. Not that that's a bad thing. We need some rain. However, on the future track, no other showers showing up out here. And the only thing showing up is temperatures getting close to 100 degrees in some of our western counties. And we still have a number of heat advisories across the area as well, with those heat index values getting pretty dangerous too. A few clouds overnight, maybe a couple of clouds on our Tuesday and Wednesday. The only thing really we're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday is still dealing with the heat. Now, humidity levels are going to drop, which will put us just below heat advisory criteria out there as we go into the next few days, and hopefully it remains that way. But it's still going to be hot. It's still going to be muggy. We're still looking at heat index values through this week pushing close to 100. So that's the case here. This is a great example of that. Lawrence, Berry, Benton, Delaware counties, no heat advisory, but it's still hot and muggy. Your heat index value is still reaching about 100 degrees, but it's just below heat advisory criteria. For the rest of us, with these heat advisories through the late evening hours, we're talking heat index values 105 to 108 degrees. So the heat risk map again shows where it's going to stick around at least for the next couple of days, and even into Wednesday, here we are still, most of us in a moderate heat risk. But then we get in Thursday, cold front's going to come in. We're going to start to see some changes. By Friday, minor heat risk across the entire area. By Saturday, we've even got some areas now, little to no risk. And then as we head into Sunday, look at this big swath just right down the middle here of little to no heat risk, because it's going to get considerably better. But between now and then, don't forget a number of heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. So there's some clouds out there, and that's what's kind of fueling some of these isolated showers that have flared up. We're at 76 in Joplin, dew point humidity both up there. So there's enough. These are basically pop-up storms, but it's rare that they're this early in the morning, but it can happen. They feed off the heating of the day. It's already pretty warm for a number of us out there, and as we're all mostly into the mid-70s, so they've got a little bit of energy to play with. Through the morning, warm. Hot by late morning, near 90 degrees by 11 a.m. Highs today, mid-upper 90s. We hang on to the mid-90s again through Thursday. Isolated storms during the day. Storm chances increase overnight and especially into Friday. Temperatures decreasing, mid-upper 80s into the weekend. And as we head into next work week, we fall back into the low 80s. Could even have some overnight lows into the upper 50s. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this. In New York, a missing boy was found safe last Thursday morning on a roof. The boy was last seen heading to school, but when he didn't make it, his parents got worried and called the police. A local news helicopter helped lead police to the missing child. Anna Kleiger shares the heroic save.
Our newsroom launched Chopper 2 to this scene to see what was going on, and that's when photojournalist Dan Rice spotted a boy sitting on the roof of this building.
I looked down at my notes, I see what the assignment desk had sent me, and I see what the child was wearing. I look back at the child, and that child was wearing everything that's in the description. He looked to be about 9 years old.
Our news desk called the police, and Chopper waited overhead until they arrived.
He just packs up his computer and his book bag and goes off with the police officers. They looked back at our helicopter, gave us a big thumbs up, and took the child down to his parents.
This man says he was on the roof earlier today and saw the child.
When I went up there with my wife to have coffee, it was about 8 o'clock, there's a swinging bench up there, sort of. And the kid was sitting on the bench, playing on his iPad.
But didn't think anything of it until he heard what happened.
I thought his parents gave him permission to go up there. I didn't even think that, why would the kid, I didn't even think, why would the kid be up there, I mean, it's a community place.
Neighbors say they're relieved to hear he's okay.
That's really exciting. I'm very proud of you guys for finding him.
And as you can imagine, so are we.
To be able to find that child for the parents down in that building, it was a really gratifying experience.
Certainly an incredible story. And of all the things, a news helicopter just happened to be flying over the right spot at the right time.
It's a great tool to have, I'm sure, and, can be used for a lot of things besides, just looking for stories, I guess.
Yeah, instead of, traffic reports or anything like that, this time they saved the child.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, a Kansas coffee shop hosts a class that connects residents with Native American culture.
And we've got another hot day across the area and actually seen a few pop-up showers and storms early this morning. Well, now look at your forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's just coming up on 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. Joplin first responders were called to a structure fire in the East Town neighborhood Sunday evening. Flames could be seen at the rear of the house, and firefighters were able to quickly bring the flames under control. No one was home when the fire broke out. Firefighters not only battled the fire, but high temperatures as well. 2 firefighters were transported to the area hospital as a precaution due to heat-related symptoms. Well, area law enforcement agencies joined together to take part in Saturation Saturday, an annual patrol that targets DWI drivers. Agencies who participated this year included the Joplin, Webb City Fire Departments and the Jasper and Newton County Sheriff's Departments and the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Saturation Saturday takes place the weekend before Labor Day, with local agencies looking for impaired and careless drivers and hazardous traffic violations. Participating departments say their goal is to keep the roadways safe. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, a Cup of Grace Coffee and Panini Shop in Oswego held a twine class hosted by award-winning Choctaw artist Deborah Pruitt. The class uses some traditional Choctaw methods that are centuries old, even predating weaving as we know it today. The featured project that everyone was making was an angel. The organizer says the class is a way to engage with the Native American culture.
Native Americans are still here, and we're not past tense. We're very current and very vibrant, and we're still here and still active and still doing things, wonderful things.
A Cup of Grace is moving down the road to 1026th Street soon. They hope to continue holding similar events in the future. The George Washington Carver National Monument showcased stories from American culture Saturday. The stories were told by Cherry and Jerry, a ragtime band who played and told the history of ragtime in Missouri. And Susan Jones, who told stories from Native American tribes, and Angela De Silva, who presented the life of a Missouri slave.
That's what we do in the National Park Service every day. Here at George Washington Carver National Monument, we tell the story of George Washington Carver's life every day. And so we wanted to expand that and tell other wonderful stories about this wonderful country.
The event coincides with the 108th birthday of the National Park Service. The Alliance of Southwest Missouri is helping clean the community with the 3rd annual Sudstock event. The event, while also having inflatables and foam cannons, also teaches people about substance misuse. The event also had free hot dogs and ice cream.
The boys had a football scrimmage this morning, so they really needed to clean off from being sweaty. But no, just the fun that they get to have and enjoy with their friends out here.
Sudstock also included a puppet show from local author Izzy B. Now let's check in with Chris for a look at the forecast.
Clouds out there, and that's because even at this hour we're seeing a few pop-up showers. So here's a look at those clouds from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. If you can see them also from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. And when we switch over to the Skywatch Storm Tracker, there they are. So not all of what you're seeing on the radar is actually happening, and so that's what makes it difficult sometimes to determine, especially with these small showers, what is and is not there. This isn't there. That's not. This activity is not there, for example. But this activity here is. So just west of Scammon, around West Mineral in northwestern Cherokee County, got a couple of light showers there on 7, or just to the west of 7 rather. Then as we head a little further north, we've had some lightning with this little pop-up thunderstorm here, but it's beginning to fizzle out northwest of Rich Hill into Bates County, and then we've got a little shower south of Mound City. But again, when we put it in motion, you can see some great examples of what is not really there and how small this activity is, and that's what makes it difficult sometimes to even pick up what really is there. But this activity slowly drifting to the northwest should not last much longer, but a couple of stray showers out there. And it's just because it is so muggy outside and it's already fairly warm. We have heat advisories for most of us through the late evening hours. It's heat index values 105 to 108. Outside of that, still heat index values up to 100 degrees out there. Temperatures, especially further west, pushing close to 100. Majority of us upper 90s, but low low 90s outside of that heat advisory area, and it's going to take us a minute to cool down, but believe it or not, we will be a little cooler this evening. 76 in Joplin right now, 74 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures across the region, again, warm to start for most of us, right around the mid-70s out there, and some low 70s to the south and east. Most of us, again, looking at highs, mid-upper 90s out there, sunny skies, and quite muggy. So if you're outdoors, make sure you're staying hydrated. Go inside when you can. Schools, recess, outdoor activities, try and move them indoors if you can today. We're going to stay hot for the next few days, and then a cold front comes in, changes our weather in a good way. We'll have details on that in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A Georgia middle school is encouraging students to read, all while exercising. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from Pittsburgh ahead of the Little Balkans Day festivities. In Consumer Watch this morning, a Canadian arbitrator gives a back-to-work order and ends a continental economic worry for now. Workers for the Canadian National Railroad and the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad will go back to their jobs. The Canada Industrial Relations Board ordered returns to work but didn't reach a decision Saturday. Canadian Pacific Kansas City workers will resume work today, and the Teamsters says it will comply but will challenge order in court. Well, high costs are affecting everyone, including pet owners, especially Gen Zers. The findings by online marketplace company LendingTree shows that about 25% of Gen Zers are giving up their pets. The survey shows that 85% of pet owners say inflation is making having a pet more expensive. More than 60% of pet owners say they make financial sacrifices for them, like skipping vacations, budgeting, and taking on debt for other expenses. Well, all electric vehicles are starting to lose out to a recent passed option of electric and hybrid. A Wall Street Journal report says plug-in hybrid vehicles are becoming a more preferred car choice for consumers. The report comes as more automakers are canceling plans for full electric cars. Plug-in hybrids are offering more travel security to consumers because they offer optional power to cars. Automotive research company Edmunds reports that sales have almost doubled since 2019. Well, back to school season is officially on, and as millions of children return to the classroom, parents across the nation are feeling the heat of the big price tags on school supplies. Fox's Teresa Priolo speaks with an expert who shares some tips on how to save during this back to school season.
Everything costs more.
So how did you work around that this year?
He's not getting as much as he did before.
It should come as no surprise. Back to school shopping is in full swing, and no, it's not cheap.
We just spent $20 on a lunchbox.
From clothes to crayons, books to binders, shoes and socks to electronics. You name it, they need it.
I mean, nothing that I could prevent. I just gotta go with the flow.
Hopefully the family comes together and help her out through the school year.
Bankrate.com did a survey on back to school shopping. 32% of the people they talked to say inflation's having a huge impact on their back to school lists. 1 in 5 said they are seriously feeling the strain this year.
The National Retail Federation says the average kindergarten through 12th grade back to school expense is $875 per child.
That doesn't include extracurriculars like sports, hobbies, and activities. And here's the shocking thing. It's not just lower income families struggling to adjust to the price increase. It's everyone, everywhere.
We actually didn't see that much variation across income brackets, which does feel like part of the story, that this is straining people up and down the economic spectrum.
So what can you do? Well, for starters, do a cost comparison and shop around. Then Bankrate says take advantage of your credit card points and unused gift cards. Places like Wawa offering free beverages and coffees to teachers and school staff. IHOP has an all-you-can-eat pancake offer happening now through September 15th. J. Crew is in the midst of their back-to-school shopping event offering 25 to 50% off. And Walmart has thousands of items under $10.
In general, people are feeling better about the cost of back to school this year, but more people are taking on debt, which is worrisome.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:43, almost 7:44 on this Monday morning. We're starting Skywatch Storm Tracker because we've got some pop-up showers and storms developing across the area. So we're going to start into parts of Cherokee and Labette counties where we do have some heavier rain now just to the west of Scammon and West Mineral. A little shower on the southwest side of Weir out there. So just to northeast of Labette, entering the Labette County side. So we're going to get a good view here south of McCune. This activity is slowly drifting northwest. So Parsons, if it holds together, you may get a few stray showers out there. This activity, and this is where it's been an interesting morning, here around Nashville, for example, that's not actually happening. But what is happening is new thunderstorm, or at least shower development right now, north of Nevada, around Deerfield, south of Metz, around Shell City. We've got some moderate to heavy showers there. We had this thunderstorm up here north of Howard into Bates County, but it is beginning to fizzle out, and we've got some shower activity just to the north and west of Appleton City. So when we put this into motion, we can kind of give you an idea as to what we mean by here's what's not really there on the radar. This activity, for example, is not really there, but as you can see, this activity is, and it began to die out, and it flares back up. And then this activity up here around Bates County starts to die out just a little bit. You saw those lightning strikes, but we're getting new development north of Nevada. We had this discussion last week too, and I'm telling you, it's something about Mother Nature and the fact that I'm not Doug Hetty, because none of this is on any of the model data for this morning. I've watched it all morning long. It's still not there. But there it is. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's not going to do much is the expectation here just by looking at what we've got. We're in that area. We're in that realm of the possibility of an isolated pop-up shower or two. But as you can see, they're very isolated at this point, should remain that way, and it's going to stay hot once again across the area. The majority of us, we got heat advisories. We'll talk about that as well. Take a look. The further west you go, the hotter it is. Some of our friends out there, Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Bartlesville, could all easily get close to 100 degrees today. Now, some good news, humidity and dew point levels will fall back just a little over the next couple of days. So that should put our heat index values, while still uncomfortable, just below heat advisory criteria. And we'll also see a couple of slightly cooler evenings as well as we fall back into the 70s, the low 70s instead of the upper 70s. We'll have overnight clouds here and there, and between Tuesday and Wednesday and even into Thursday, it stays hot across the area. But by Thursday, we're going to start to see some improvements in the terms of a cold front. So here's a look at those heat advisories. If you're in the advisories, we're talking heat index values of 105 to 108. Outside of that, still could see heat index values up to 100 degrees. And we'll talk about the heat risk potential a little later. We saw there that we've got the major to extreme in some areas. And of course, we've got heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. So here's some of those clouds associated with the pop-up showers and thunderstorms that we're seeing this morning. 76 in Joplin, and that's the other reason why. Dew point, humidity, both up there. So there's some energy for them to work with. But, thankfully, nothing strong, nothing severe expected out of any of this activity. Most of us still mid-70s. Again, outside of that heat advisory zone, it's in the low 70s. We get our morning going, and it is going to be hot. Upper 70s by 8. We're talking near 90 by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, again, mid-upper 90s out there. Mid-90s again through Thursday. Cold front comes in. Ahead of it, maybe a few isolated storms. Storm chances increase overnight and into Friday. Better storm chances on the day, during the day Friday. Temperatures mid-80s into the weekend, low 80s as we head into next week. So just a few more days of this, and we'll finally start to get a bit of a break. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, a middle school media specialist is finding new ways to get kids excited about reading, and it's already making a difference.
Stacey Inez has more on the Read and Ride program.
Well, imagine you're the media specialist here at McIntyre Park and you're trying to find ways to get students more interested in reading. Well, that was Julie Brewster's goal, and that's why the middle school now has 2 exercise bikes so kids can come in here and read and ride. Pedaling their way into the new school year, Destiny Williams and Brooklyn Nixon are taking advantage of McIntyre Park's new reading program.
I was excited because you can exercise while reading a book, and reading a book is actually kind of fun while you're riding a bike.
Students can come to the library during the day and ride the bike as long as they pick up a book.
It helps me read more because it's like I'm exercising, and I'm exercising my brain because I'm reading me a nice book.
Julie Brewster is the school's media specialist. She says she worked at elementary schools for years before coming to the middle school.
When I got here, I just realized that the kids were not as excited about reading. So I've been trying to find different ways to get them excited.
So she started doing some research and found the Read and Ride program, aimed at reducing childhood obesity while promoting literacy.
That's the #1 rule. When they come in, they have to be reading to get on the bikes.
Brewster secured Title I funding for the bikes. She says this is also helping students reach their accelerated reader goals, which she hopes will turn into long-term student success.
We definitely want kids to get more excited and become lifelong readers. We're hoping this gets them going in the right direction.
And Williams says she enjoys reading now more than ever.
Well, before then, I didn't really want to read and go to the library, but now I really like to read and go to the library more often.
And depending on the success of the 2 bikes here, she says if reading levels continue improving and students continue showing interest, she'll even consider adding a few more.
It's certainly a unique way to get kids reading. I mean, it gets you moving.
Yes.
And you got something to keep you occupied in front of you, something that's not a device.
Absolutely. It's great. And, it might take a little, getting used to, I think, working your brain while you're also working your body. But, hey, I mean, it looks fun.
It's walking and chewing gum at the same
time.
Can be difficult at times. We have, sometimes what I do is a bit difficult. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean with this Skywatch Storm Tracker. You see these little showers and storms out there? Yeah, they're not supposed to be there. I don't know what it is I've done to offend Mother Nature, but this has got to be the 13th, 14th time this year alone that we've had something develop that was not on any of the model data. Now we're seeing a few more showers developing into parts of Bourbon and Crawford counties out there. So we do have these heavier showers, again, one in between Weir and West Mineral, right over 7, and then off to the west, south of McCune, and just to the southeast of Parsons, we have another heavier shower out there as well. As we track further north, we've got these new showers that are developing back through parts of Crawford and Bourbon counties, and then some heavier showers north of Nevada and around Shell City. And we did have some thunderstorm activity up here, but that is beginning to die out. All of this activity is real activity here, through here, and here. That, for example, is not, but we are still seeing a few pop-up showers out there. We do need some rain. We could see a couple more as we go through the day. Majority of us dry and hot. One there, look at your forecast. News you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Community members in Carthage held a rally this weekend supporting Jason Martin as fire chief. The event comes after Carthage firefighters submitted a statement supporting Martin as chief. The Carthage City Council recently tabled choosing a new chief despite the hiring committee unanimously selecting Martin from more than 10 applicants. Area law enforcement agencies joined together to take part in Saturation Saturday, an annual patrol that targets DWI drivers. Saturation Saturday takes place the weekend before Labor Day with local agencies looking for impaired and careless drivers. Participating departments say their goal is to keep the roadways safe. And a Cup of Grace, a coffee and panini shop in Oswego held a swine class hosted by award-winning Choctaw artist Deborah Pruitt. The class uses some traditional Choctaw methods that are centuries old. The organizer says the class is a way to engage with the Native American culture.
All right, we still have some pop-up showers and storms this morning that, again, they're not supposed to be there, but there they are. Nothing strong, nothing severe, and they should begin to die out within the next hour or so, but don't be surprised if you get caught under a heavier rain shower. They are slowly drifting northwest, but again, eventually they will begin to die out. Heat advisories for a good portion of the area. Heat index values 105 to 108, highs in the upper 90s. We'll stay in the upper 90s through Thursday. Cold front comes in, brings us some storms Thursday night into Friday, brings us mid-80s into the weekend, low 80s by next week.
Alrighty. Well, a resident grizzly bear at Maryland Zoo got comfy in her new bedding. Footage shows Nita the grizzly rolling around in a bed of hay in her enclosure in Baltimore.
Nita arrived at the zoo in December of 2016 with her sister Nova after the pair were orphaned in Montana. So it certainly looks like they are having a lot of fun out there.
Absolutely. It looks pretty fun. Yeah.
That's a heck of a trip for them too, from Montana to Maryland. I mean, that's a hike.
They seem pretty comfy with it now.
I think they have made themselves at home. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.